person, it's always kind of different. You'll always get a different kind of story. For me, personally, like, I was just very involved in theater, and over the years, just being very involved, doing a lot of indie projects online, because thank God, this modern age, a lot of people can't be a voice actor if they have the right tools and the right setup and make it in your closet. I have my own little setup in my closet, and I've gotten enough like professional paying gigs online. I did some TV stuff around the Dallas area, you know, kind of like the guys like, watch out, and that's me for a second in the background. And of course, theater shows, and I just sent my resume to Funimation, because you can send, just say, hey, you can send a resume to us, and we might be added to an open call. And I sent it in. Probably 8 months later, I got like an email from them saying, hey, we're doing auditions for this show. Why don't you come in? I went in, auditioned, didn't get anything that time. Second time, they called me in like a month later. It's like, we're doing this other show. Come in. And that was Toriko, and I got the narrator for that, which was really cool, because shogun's, thankfully, are 50, 100 episodes long, so I got a good constant paycheck for a while. So that was my story of how I got into voice acting.
What I really like about what he's sharing is the real secret to getting into anything you want to do in life. This is not even specific to voice acting. To anything that you want to do, that you're passionate about, that you love, the real secret is the hours. It's putting in the hours towards it. It's a 1,000-hour theory. So I started acting at 3, doing characters in theater, and so by the time I got to university, I'd already had thousands and thousands of hours put into the craft that I was interested in studying. Then in university, I put in thousands and thousands and thousands of more hours. So when I finally got behind a microphone, really all I needed to learn was some mic technique, but the characters and the acting chops were really, really, really strong. Strong enough to book me a lead in a cartoon series. You know what I mean? So, and I was technically on the scene a newbie, but I wasn't really new to the craft. I had thousands of hours of practice. So whether you're a chef, you know, somebody who builds costumes for a living, if you're an accountant, if you're anything you want to be a master at, because every single job we do as human beings is creative. Every single job. If we choose to find the creativity in it, because we all have that creativity within us. So you can, if you look deep inside yourself and if you're bored at your job, that means you're not being creative with it. And it's time to look at how you can be creative with it. You can always change things to be so much more fun and so much more juicy if you use your imagination. So putting in those hours is a big deal. Letting yourself be creative with those hours is a big deal. And then if you find that it generally just unfolds naturally, there's a momentum that builds up from putting that attention on that thing you love. It just grows like a snowball that starts really little, and those hours just are that snowball getting bigger and bigger and bigger. For example, this is a great actual example. I was at the airport in LAX, flying here, and I happened to sit down next to some random dude. Random dude happened to be working on a comic book. He was a comic book writer. This was his first comic book. So the universe plops me next to him, and we start a conversation. And what I do relates to what he does. And I do happen to have a lot of information towards the comic book realm. My cousin, you might know him, he worked with Todd McFarlane for years. His name is Erin Fitzgerald, and he co-created the Spawn series. So he's one of those people in my universe that I listen to his story. So I got to share with this guy all sorts of information that he wouldn't have had any other way, because he's not from LA. He just happened to be there for his day job. But he's working on this part in this comic book. And I loved that. That to me was the reward that comes from putting in hours and hours towards your passion. The reward is that the universe attracts the people that are going to answer questions that you really have been looking for the answers. Is that English word? Almost, but you know what I mean, right?
And as always, never be afraid of failure. You're going to be bad at something to begin with, because, like you say, you got to put in the hours because you're being new. from your mistakes. That's how you improve as a person and in your craft. And from failures upon failures, you learn a little bit more information at that time, and eventually, you're a pro at it.
Man, if you knew how many times I audition a year and don't book it, thousands upon thousands of failures.
You're competing with just so many people, so you know.
But the beautiful thing is, for each time I don't book it, I know I'm one step closer to a booking. So I don't look at that as a failure. I look like I need to get 100 no's before I get one yes. That's generally in business anywhere. That's what they say. For 100 no's, you get one yes. So I look for those auditions. Let's get those 100 no's. Let's hurry up and get them so I can get to the yes. Let's just pile them up. I love that. That's part of the process.
That's the thing. Like, you need to be active. You got to keep at it no matter what. Don't get discouraged. Be like, okay, I'll move on to the next thing.
Exactly, because that's the only way you get better. And trust me, some of the people we get to be in the room with would blow your mind. To see them in the physical doing what they do. Like, when I sit next to Jennifer Hale, my brain wants to melt. She's amazing. The hours she's put into her craft. She's now for anybody who doesn't know, she's the current voice of Cinderella, and she's Femme Chef from the Mass Effect series. And a million other things. She's got the Guinness Book of World Records for female in video games. She's amazing. So that's the competition. So you want to have those hours. You don't want to put out a demo after you've studied it for a year. You want to make sure that when you put out your demo, it's going to have those hours behind it to support your talent, which is probably strong. It just hasn't been practiced enough yet.
And also, having a network of people who also work in that craft is great, especially if you want to be a voice actor, because could you critique this before I actually send it out?
Oh, that's good. Although sometimes that's bad. Because people get jelly if you're really good.
Oh,